law performs the function of the parameter of social relations and setting common rules which are suitable for the community or society or culture in the main, depending in the context we're talking about or we're involved in. Therefore, people accept the law to maintain the social order and to live according to the rules set by the law. The study of law and society rests on the belief that legal rules and decisions must be understood in their strict context. There's a big difference between the concept made by the political scientist and the one which is created by the law and society perspective, the one we're talking about. Respecting the first one, they are based in the political nature of law. This alludes to the fact of the empirical concept and how to solve problems in regular way without strict rules or constitution. And the second one explains how law is constructed under the terms of history and culture and society and how this impacts with our environment. Also, there were many different notions about this theory through the years, which help us to understand in a broader way, in a bigger way, the influence of law nowadays in our society, being the most remote the one of the 60s, depicting law as apolitical and autonomous. This means that lacks a defined political ideology and shows no interest in matters relating to politics, and also has no dependence with another branch or subject. Doesn't mean a connector to work. Is standing outside of the social world but at the same time is attached with society. They are both connected each other. They match each other to make a perfect team and to form at the same time law and society perspective or concept. The social scientists of the time, being frustrated by the formalism of the legal academy and the irrelevance and strictness of much political science, looked up to engage in research that would address modern policy debates over racial discriminations and poverty. That's why in 1964 it's created the Law and Society Academy or Association in head of Russell Sage, who was a very important politician from New York at that time, in which sociologists, politicians, and scientists debated and shared their own thought and ideas about how law was involved with science and the natural manner of the human being with no rules. This means empirical theory of solving issues. This also helps substantially to create an easy access to justice for the citizens at the same time of going to a court because they were receiving advisory under a different point of view, a natural view with an open-minded thought which facilitated the case in a process instead of recurring to a lawyer with causal parameters. Likewise, people who didn't count with economic resources to hire an attorney could easily have an answer to their conflict. These scholars are multidisciplinary. This means they support their comments with other branches, even they have been formed with only one discipline. But this with the purpose of having more argumentation, ideas, and exceed the actual knowledge to improve their own. This is called individual and group making, and a strategy to go beyond the subject. Intellectuals agreed that law is the most important fact which concerns their association, but in a very certain way is linked with society at the same time. They complement each other as a team for making big goals for society. For example, if a person gets married, it's a social event, and was to accomplish a divorce requires to the law to make this possible, and both concepts match each other. This applies in court, judges, trials, and in the solution of disputes to incorporate regular actions and events in the society at the law field. To achieve legality and transparency in the process and with the clients, it's very important to try offering confidence and satisfaction at the time of executing a case, especially if it's about a big felony in which the person is involved, because society and law will judge. But the attorney and the subjective way of seeing the environment in an empirical way will have to make him feel secure secure, and safe. There have been many recent developments about law and society which also are linked with politics which help us to understand in a wider way how community works and develops through the time with law. Some of them are: first, examining the way in which people use courts coming back to a view of litigation as a form of political participation, seeing how the condition has changed from different perspectives as feminist jurisprudence among others. Second, the development of cultural problems seen from a psychological viewpoint. And third, arbitration, as a way to fasten the process and keep the harmony between the parts, which varies depending the culture and the culture they are used to. That's why it's very important content a layer. In conclusion, law and society are not separated at all. They are a perfect team, and most of the time needs each other to improve and to guarantee the rights of the citizen, and teach us how to carry out a trial peacefully and enforcing the social status of law, depending the culture, the society, and the terms.